Hey folks, Eagle Pajamas here, and we are picking back up with our 143 turn religious victory with Ethiopia. If you liked the first part, please do consider liking and subscribing. So we need to refresh our trade route, and we are going to be completing our civic research here in just a moment. And if you recall, we were setting up so that we could get the boost in recorded history by building that one campus. So we'll bring Hercules over there and get that second campus built, and that way we can get the boost for recorded history. We finished the civic research, so we have the opportunity to switch policy cards for free. So we're going to swap in the plus 100% to holy state adjacency bonuses because if you recall, we took work ethic. The plus 100% does actually count for the production value for work ethic. After initially considering the plus 2 wonders card, I'm going to actually put in the plus 30% builders to in the wildcard slot, just because I'm not building any wonders right now, and obviously you can plan a little bit ahead if you want and forego in terms of actually getting a bonus, but every time I tend to do that, I don't know. I always mess it up and then end up getting way more turns not actually building something that the policy card is contributing to, so I have a tendency to try and use ones that are actually going to benefit me on that turn so that I don't forget and screw it up. The Hercules has done his job and got that campus constructed quickly to get us that boost to recorded history, which we are now researching. And we are about to finish that water mill in our third city up in the north there. So that should give us the boost for construction when that is finished. Right now, we're going to continue working on shipbuilding. I don't anticipate getting the boost to shipbuilding because I don't think that I'm going to be building 2 galleys for any reason. I find that to be one of the boosts that's not really particularly useful. Well, not that the boost isn't useful. The boost would be useful. I just don't find building 2 galleys to be useful. I believe we still have one speed up left on Hercules. Now, our other city is at 3 population, and I believe it is at 4 population that you are permitted to build the second district down based upon the population limits. So I believe it's 4 population to get the second district down in a city. Our capital is at 6 population. I believe that requires 7, but with a chop here on the marsh by the builder, that will get us up to 7. And then that should give us the option then to use Hercules for another district in the capital. My preference is normally to use him on the slower producing cities, but we'll take it at this point just for efficiency of getting this district out. So that is a good place for the commercial hub because a subsequent harbor can go adjacent to it, and commercial hubs will get an additional +2 adjacency bonus off the harbor, in addition to the river adjacency bonus it is already getting. Now I opted to build a market in the capital, and that's because my income is a little bit on the lower end with only +6.5, so I could use the additional trade route and the gold from the market. So we finished recorded history. We still need the games and recreation for entertainment complexes. And now we are going to have the opportunity to appoint another governor here. And it's a tough choice because we do want another governor, but we do want our secret society as well. So the Void Singer Secret Society is likely what we're going to be going with this game. So we're going to go ahead and take that. I think that we've got monuments either in all the cities or maybe 2 of the 3 cities. So we're going to get an immediate faith boost off of that. We're already getting 54.2 faith per turn, which is pretty substantial at turn 72. That's well ahead of what you would normally expect to have at this point in the game. So we are already down to 1 turn left to finish our market. So we have extremely high production in our capital. And that's due to the holy car or the holy site adjacency bonus in addition to work ethic that we took earlier. We mentioned that those stack, so I am effectively getting, I believe it's like maybe +8 or +10 or something like that to production. Now we have an opportunity to take a look at our policy cards, and we're going to go ahead and add the campus adjacency bonus over the +1 production in all cities. I think that that's well worthwhile with 2 campuses, and we'll leave everything else the same. Let's take a look at where we are in the Great Scientist Project progress. We're not going to get that Great Scientist most likely, um, and it looks like I actually did change my mind, and I am going to slot in the +2 wonders at this point on that wildcard slot. And I did mention before that I don't usually like to slot those in early, but it's going to be another 4 turns before I can finish games and recreation. And I'm going to have 2 cities, which I'm going to be uh, swapping my construction in. So I think I probably will finish off that 1 turn partially built builder finally in the capital. But no, I'm not going to actually. I'm going to start working on the Oracle. Which actually, I don't, now in retrospect, I don't know if I mean, I have 2 builders already, but if it's only 1 turn to get the builder out, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, particularly having Magnus already in place in the capital. Like, I disagree with that decision now in retrospect. Like, I would have finished the builder. I feel like I just started building the Oracle to justify my use of that swap out in the policy card. Because we finished the market, we can do that trade route now. We'll build that in our second city. And then we will adjust our workers around here to get some chops in on our Oracle. The Oracle will definitely help since we are planning on summoning Hercules again, and that should reduce his cost. You can see the volcano just annihilated my 2 holy sites, which I believe I mentioned that earlier. So that's actually going to require me to swap over and get that repair done because I don't want to lose out on the holy site bonuses, particularly with work ethic in place. I think that actually probably does impact my production as well because I don't think I can get that adjacency bonus if the holy sites are destroyed. We're going to go ahead with mathematics here to set up the possibility for a Petra in that northern city. Would be a pretty solid spot for it if we opt to go with that route. So it's going to be a couple of turns repairing all of our holy site stuff because of my inattentiveness to building my sites underneath the volcano. Although, just given my options, I don't really think that there was really a good spot besides around that volcano to build my things. I would have lost out definitely on that one really good spot with the 5 adjacent tiles, so that would have been a big negative in my book. You only give up a couple of turns repairing, even if you have like multiple buildings, like probably if you have good production tops, like 5 turns repairing, which can be annoying, but we're getting some good chops down right now to speed up our production in the capital. So our Magnus fueled chopping engine is working well. He's helped us now construct that Oracle, so that was a very quick Oracle finish. Uh, pretty record time there. Well, not record, but I'm sure there's people that have chopped out an Oracle in 1 turn, but I'm just saying that it's a good time. So we're gonna buy that tile to anticipate building a harbor there because we wanted to have an adjacent harbor to our commercial district. So, of course, in order to do that, we'll actually have to research celestial navigation. I don't think I had the boost yet. I built 1 sea resource in anticipation of that, and I hadn't built the other one yet. So we'll need to get that down quick. So we will get that builder out finally. It does look like that I did not have my monument in that third city, so we'll need to get that out as well because we don't want to miss out on our free faith bonus from Void Singers. We have finished games and recreation, and at this point, since we've cleared out most of the chops, we're gonna look to reassign Magnus there to somewhere that has more chopping opportunities. So we'll assign him up to that third city, Merkel, there, because that probably has the least production out of my three cities and would benefit the most from accelerating via chops. And now we have the opportunity to swap in some cards. So we'll do the 30% to builders card and build another builder. It is unfortunate. Magnus is like my only actual governor besides the Void Singer, which doesn't count as terms of being able to place him in a city. So not getting a lot of other bonuses, but I am pretty pleased with where we're at so far on our overall output in terms of all of the types of different resources. Obviously, mostly faith, which is what we're generating by far the most of. But given that you can see that I have still not discovered any civilizations, that's going to be make it hard to convert the world to my religion if I haven't met any of the world. So at some point we're going to actually have to meet people, but as of turn 78, we have not met anybody yet. So our worker has got some work to do. Magnus is not installed yet up there, so we don't need an immediate chop. So we will head down to do some work down there, and then we want to get out and improve that sea resource so that we can get the boost on Celestial Navigation. You'll notice I switched off of it just because we were going to get boosted on it, and I didn't want to waste turns on it. So now we'll switch back to it, and we'll get the boost, and then just complete it in one turn after that. So that way we didn't have any type of accidental overage for no reason. We're going to go ahead and do the temple over in our second city. Take a look at what we've got for the great person situation. We're generating great people points in multiple categories. It looks like great merchant actually that we're probably generating more than most of the other cultures. Got another pasture down in the capital, and then now we are going to send our trade route out of the second city, and we are going to send it for some more food, even though we are running up against the housing limit soon. I like to get that extra production, so unless we're like over the housing limit, I tend to favor going towards the internal routes early. We're going to build we're going to build a harbor district over there with Hercules finishing it for us. So instant harbor, which is nice. And then we are going to select, I think, apprenticeship here will be good. We can knock out a couple of mines and get the boost on that. Finish up our old god obelisk in the northern city and build another something with our worker down here. We're going to go with a farm for the rice down there. Can't go wrong with more growth in the home city there. So now we are just sort of in a holding pattern here. 9 turns left until the end of the classical era. And we've finished out another builder. Now, because I slotted that builder card, I feel sort of almost obliged to continue building builders. But I don't know if I necessarily need one at this point. But right now, I think we should probably get the faith generation going, and that will also reduce the recall cost for Hercules when he comes back out in the next era, which he should most certainly do, given we have 921 faith right now and are generating 74 per turn. We are not going to have a whole lot of difficulty getting Hercules back out into play. It's a good thing we haven't run into Eleanor of Aquitaine in this game. She would be yelling at me for the amount of unimproved luxuries I have about how I don't take care of my amenities. So I'm not sure why. Apparently I only believe in improving my bonus resources. Only pastures, nothing else. We don't believe in plantations around here. They're oppressive, but nonetheless, we probably should get some amenities besides the Temple of Artemis at some point because those are local amenities only, as we discussed earlier, which don't help my other two cities. They would only be helpful for other cities if I had 5 or more cities because amenities are spread across 4 cities. So there would be one less city that would really need that amenity because I'm getting so many from Temple of Artemis on my capital. So right now we have 2 temples under construction and then the lighthouse. So we're building the lighthouse in the 3rd city because it provides extra housing, plus it will give us an additional trade route. And our income generation is still a little bit on the low side at 9.6 per turn. I'd like to get that up a little bit higher. The temples are not the best source of faith, but they do give us access to apostles, which we're obviously going to need if we are going for a religious victory. So we've got 7 turns left until the classical era ends, and I think that we are in a good position right now. We're almost done with defensive tactics, so that's going to give us an opportunity to change our policy cards. Now, there's nothing that we are building in the cities that we just discussed. We're building 2 temples and a lighthouse. So none of those things are going to benefit directly from a policy card other than generic production. We're using the Holy Site card because of work ethic. And then we are trying to decide what we want probably in that wildcard spot. So we're doing plus to builders, which we don't need right now because we're not building any builders. And I think because we're going to be getting that extra trade route off of the lighthouse, that it might be a good choice here to take the additional gold off of the trade routes. So that would generate 4 additional gold, which is a good buff from the 13.5. It brings us up to 17.5, and then we're going to pick up that other trade route, which would bring us up to 19.5. So that's a pretty decent increase. And we're going to go ahead and flat out buy the Great Person that increases trade route capacity. So we're pretty close on that, and it only costs another 203 faith to pick that up. And because that's like less than 3 turns worth of faith for us, I think that we can go ahead and speed that up and increase our trade route capacity, and then also get the buff to foreign trade routes, which I believe does work on city-states. Now you can see that we are going to hit our golden age. We are at 47 of 47 on the era score for hitting the golden age. So that's going to be really good for us because this is going to be the era where I anticipate getting off of our little island here and sending our apostles and missionaries out, and we will want that golden age buff for exodus of the evangelists. So that is going to be very helpful in getting a speedier win. The reason I kept flipping it back and forth between the governor title screen is because I have one governor title, but I was sort of wanting to save it for the 2nd tier Void Singer ability, which will unlock during the medieval era. End up going with Pingala in the capital and hoping to get out that 2nd-tier Void Singer title as quickly as I can after that with an additional title unlock. And this is a little bit risky because the 2nd-tier Void Singer title ability is very important to the way that I'm building out here because I'm so faith focused, and the 2nd-tier Void Singer ability translates 20% of your faith over into other resource production like science and culture and production. So it's definitely very important to get that as quickly as possible after the medieval era. So that might have been a mistake there to use up that title. We are going to hit the civil service boost from the population count in the capital in 4 more turns. So trying to time that out to get the boost just right about when it's going to be of maximum effect, or at least to not, obviously, to not overproduce there and just try and hit that right exactly on the mark between how much production I need before the boost. We've got two unused trader slots right now, so we're going to want to quick churn out another trader out of that second city. We already have one underway in the third city, so that should be all of our trade route capacity, and that should carry us over in terms of gold until we can get the Void Singer title. I think that with my current science and culture production, that I'm doing relatively okay and should be getting my civics and techs at a reasonably good pace. Again, it's hard to tell since I haven't met any civilizations as of yet. And we're on like turn 87, and I still have yet to meet a civilization. But I can assure you that this game takes 143 turns, if I remember correctly. So eventually, when we meet the civilizations, we will rapidly spread our religion around, and that's why we're continuing to build religious buildings. So the mosque building is one of them that we selected as our first uh, our, um, belief when we founded our religion, and that gives an extra spread to apostles and missionaries, which is very valuable when you are trying to win a religious victory quickly. So we're going to want to set up our trade route for the new trade route here. And based upon the production that I see in the city state, it looks like I might have been wrong about that great merchant because it looks like we're getting three from the districts there and two from the bonuses. And I think I have the bonus card in, so that doesn't represent anything from the great merchant effect. So I think that we might not be getting anything from that on the city state route. I'll have to make sure and test that later. I've actually always been sort of unclear because I could have swore that I had, when I had checked before, the international trade routes counted city states. So I'm not sure why I wouldn't be getting the additional bonus effect there unless it's something that's not calculated into the route itself and it's calculated globally, which is possible, or maybe I'm just missing something that's super obvious. I could have swore that I had already queued up enough trade route capacity for that 4 of 4, or to get 4 of 4 capacity, but apparently that is not the case. I'm not sure what happened there, but we are about to end the classical era here in one turn, so we're pretty pumped up to get our golden age here, and we have one turn left until we get our growth on the capital, and that will trigger the civil service boost. So that should actually either finish civil service or put us one turn away. So we have a very specific agenda here for the medieval age. One is to actually find the other civilizations, and two, it's to churn out as many missionaries and or apostles as possible, and three is to convert all the other religions. So the process of converting the other civs takes a little bit longer, so we're going to break this into a third part, kicking off in the medieval era. So if you are enjoying this series, please consider liking and subscribing, and we will be back with the completion of this game. Uh, right now we're on like turn 90-ish, so it'll be another like 53-ish turns.